Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to rate the 4-game NBA main slate on Tuesday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL slates on Draftkings. I'm now making videos for NBA Top Shot as well. If you're not familiar with NBA Top Shot, I have a series up with a couple videos explaining it. So if you're interested in that, you can go check that out. If you were unable to watch these YouTube videos, they're also up on Apple Podcasts. We'll link down below. It's called the DKDFS Show. If you're interested in signing up for premium content, I offer that on patreon.com, an esports package, which includes Call of Duty and CSGO, as well as an NBA package, also linked down below. And finally, I want to thank Prize Picks for sponsoring this show. If this is your first time watching these videos or you're not familiar with Prize Picks, the idea is you're taking over/under on fantasy points. So, and they do have second half contests. They have fourth quarter contest. Right now, they don't have anything posted for tomorrow, but that'll be up probably soon. And they'll post more throughout the day. And these will move too. So if you see one that is too low, right? I mentioned in the video yesterday, Westbrook, right? Take the over. Well, that hit by 40? So yeah, if you find one, like if you see that something that is, you think there's an edge, then take it, right? Because these will move. So take advantage of one if you think there is, again, an advantage for you. Like for example, Vucevic at 23.5 fantasy points for the second half feels a little much. So maybe take the under there. But yeah, that's basically the idea. So if you guys want to sign up, you just go DKDFS. DKDFS, all one word, link down below. You get 100% match up to $100. So you put $100 in, you get $200 to play with. And if you're interested in March Madness, yeah, they have stuff for March Madness. They have college stuff here, so you can mix and match sports. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So before we talk about players and their prices for this 4-game slate, we can look back the lineup here from Monday. And Monday, not a lot of tilting to do, really. Just I'm really mad at myself. Made a mistake tonight for sure, and I'm really, really upset about it. So let's go over my lineup. Russell Westbrook, NAW, Jerome Robinson, Grant Williams, Isaiah Hartenstein, John Wall, Kelly Olynyk, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. So mistake I made, and it was very clear, was I played John Wall over Harden. Now, sure, right, it's a different price range, but still, there was enough value on this slate to get Harden in. Even with Kyrie back in that great the great matchup, he still looked really, really good. So, and John Wall just shoots like 2 of 13. But when I fade him when he's on a minutes limit, when I get off him, then he goes off. It's like, okay, cool, John Wall. But yeah, that was 100% a mistake, right? Because there was enough value. Another mistake on my part was I wasn't as high on the Wizards' value as I should have been. Now, we got to take that with a grain of salt, too. There was, 160 points scored in that game? It shouldn't have been that high scoring. But still, I should have been higher on, the Wizards' value. So, guys like Denny Avdija played 32 minutes. Again, I played Jerome Robinson just as a price point thing. But, yeah, I should have been a little bit higher on some of those guys. We'll talk about this in a second since the Wizards play again tomorrow. So really, really upset at myself for those two things. Sure, right? Hit on Westbrook, hit on Hartenstein, hit on the Moses Brown fade, but doesn't matter. If you watch these videos, I'm very, very hard on myself, and I can't make mistakes like that. When there's enough value to get Harden in there or to get Towns, and I settle for John Wall, and then it didn't make sense, right? So I settle for John Wall, and then I get to NAW, who's my last piece in, but it didn't make sense to play him on the slate. There was enough value to get one more really big star, like either Harden or Towns, and go down to value. So 100% made a mistake there. And then, yeah, I played Giannis Antetokounmpo to get different. What? Is he just washed now? Come on, Giannis. But, yeah, that's it for the look back, guys. Again, just really, really upset with myself making a dumb mistake there. But, all right, let's move on to this 4-game slate. So we have one of the 4 games out right now, 76ers and Nuggets, a 221 over under. The Nuggets are 4.5-point favorites. All right, so let's talk about Charlotte and Washington. Charlotte side, again, this is a game that definitely has some upside, especially if Beal's out, or you can definitely stack this one up. So the top two guys with Rozier and Hayward both firmly in play because of the great matchup. I mean, we just saw what happened tonight, right? There was 150 points scored in that game. So Terry Rozier at 7-7 has been really solid since the Melo ball's gone down. 39 in overtime, but 53, 36, 44 fantasy points. He's doing more of the peripheral stats as well, and this game should be played at a really fast pace. So I actually am fine with Rozier, and he's got shooting guard eligibility, which is nice. You have a little bit more flexibility there. Gordon Hayward at 7.6, it's just, last 3 games has really taken a backseat offensively. Now, he's not shooting the ball well, 4 of 12, 4 of 15. He's going to be low on in the slate because of recency bias. He's still got upside. It's just Gordon Hayward this year has been so up and down, even at the start of the year, right? He started off strong and then would just go on a stretch of playing terribly and then have one big 60 fantasy point game, then go back to playing bad again. So do I trust him right now in cash games? Probably not. But for tournaments, I'm okay with it because the ownership's going to be low on Gordon Hayward off of, again, recency bias. PJ Washington, so they really abandoned both Cody Zeller and Bismack Biyombo the last game. They went small ball and played a lot of PJ Washington, the 5. No, he played terrible. He shot 0 of 7, but he did play 44 minutes, 39 in regulation. It's still this price is not amazing. If you're going a full game stack, I could see using PJ, but again, I think you're going to overpay a little bit for him in this, at that price. Devontae Graham in the mid-range, I actually think is a pretty safe play. He played 39 minutes in overtime, so 34 in regulation, which is good to see. I'm expecting around 30 to 35 minutes. Up-tempo matchup, a guy that can get some assists, can score the ball. So yeah, I do have some interest there in Devontae Graham in the mid-range. Miles Bridges had a big game last game, but that was he played a lot more than usual. Also, Malik Monk was out that last game, so he's not out of play, but it feels like chasing a little bit, kind of like Moses Brown tonight, right? Moses Brown was 30% owned after the big game. And he was a bust. Malik Monk at 4.9K is probable. I'm expecting around mid-20s minutes. My concern, which I always bring up with Malik Monk, is the peripheral stats, right? He had 32 real-life points and 40 fantasy points. He's not going to do a ton of the peripherals. So when he's having a bad shooting game, he's gonna hurt you, even at this price, right? If he plays 25 minutes and shoots 2 of 9, he's gonna kill you. So that's a risk with Malik Monk. But again, firmly in play for tournaments. If he gets hot, we know the upside is there. Again, with these bigs, Cody Zeller, minutes trending down. Bismack Biyombo only played 15 minutes after 20 plus the previous 3 games. So I don't know if I can stomach playing a Hornet big. So that is it for Charlotte. Let's move on to Washington. So let's go over these minutes with when Brad Beal missed tonight. So again, Westbrook obviously crushed. Just an absolutely insane game. 35 points, 21 assists, 14 rebounds. That is just an absurd stat line. It's absolutely absurd. But again, where I made a mistake tonight, which I'm mad at myself, I should have been higher on Rui Hachimura. 36 minutes, 26, 8, and 3. So Rui's going to be their clear number 2 if Brad Beal's out. Deni Avdija also played 32 minutes. I should have been higher on him tonight. Score independent, but hey, he had a solid game. Jerome Robinson, 5 fouls, was in foul trouble most of the game. I think he plays a little bit more if he does get in foul trouble. Also, though, did get lucky, right? Got unlucky with the foul trouble, but lucky with the peripheral stats. 3 steals and 3 blocks. He's not going to do that again. So, and then off the bench, Chandler Hutchinson after actually had a big game after I ripped on him. Rule Neto played 19 minutes. Don't have a ton of interest there. Gafford got injured, so it should be a combination of Len Lopez at center, and then Garrison Matthews played a little bit off the bench. So, with that all being said, if Brad Beal's out, Russell Westbrook is going to be 100% owned after that last game, 94 fantasy points. So, love Russ again if there's no Beal. Clear play. Again, Rui Hachimura is going to be the number 2 on offense. I should have been higher on him tonight, so I think he's a pretty solid play at that price. The 2 bigs with Len and Robin Lopez. Len probably gets around 20-ish minutes, a viable tournament play, but we know, he's got the risk is if he plays bad, they can just go right to Robin Lopez and really limit his minutes. Robin Lopez at 3.6 should play more now that, again, Gafford got injured. My concern here is, though, Charlotte, right? So the minutes are trending down on the bigs for Biyombo and Cody Zeller. So, does that mean both teams go small ball? I think it's a possibility. So that is also the risk with guys like Lopez, guys like Len. Now, Deni Avdija, right, 3.7K. He played 32 minutes. Didn't have an amazing game, but hey, 24 fantasy points at, 3, 4. You'll take that all day long. So if he starts again, I think we get around 30 minutes. Definitely in play for value. Also, you can play him at either 4 position, which is nice, a little more flexibility. And then, Jerome Robinson at the min price. Again, got a little bit unlucky with the foul trouble, but lucky with the peripheral stats. If he starts again, I do have some interest there. I think we probably get mid-20s minutes from him. Again, Hutchinson had a big game last game, but I don't know if I trust it necessarily. It feels like chasing a little bit if you go there. Garrison Matthews lost minutes, only played 20. Again, he's super reliant on the scoring. Neto played about 20. I guess he's an okay punt play because he's a guy that can get you some assist. But, main interest if Beal's out is clearly, again, Westbrook at the top, Rui in the mid-range. And probably Denny and Jerome Robinson for value. But if Brad Beal is in, then that changes everything. Then I don't have a ton of interest in the Washington value. Probably wouldn't get to anyone, to be honest. And then it would just be the top two guards I would like with Westbrook and Beal. So keep an eye on that. That will change the entire slate. Moving on to Philly and Denver. So on the Philly side, Ben Simmons just continues to have a down year. He has really not been playing well. The price isn't moving, and he's just not flashing on the upside. He's a guy, sure, that can get a triple-double, but he's just not being aggressive on the offensive end. So just a secondary contrarian play right now for me with Ben Simmons. I would prefer Tobias Harris over him, who is being, again, a lot more aggressive offensively, just playing a lot better, and doing a good job of stuff in the stat sheet, right? 13 rebounds, 4 assists, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. So definitely prefer Tobias to Ben Simmons. As far as Dwight Howard, so back-to-back ejections. Have you ever seen that before? Back-to-back ejections. Now, I think people that may not know or don't watch the games will look at these box scores and will avoid them. I actually think that's a mistake. Okay, so look at this game in the Lakers. 6 minutes, 12 fantasy points. 19 minutes, 25 fantasy points. He's been pretty solid. We know he's a good point per minute guy. Also, Denver is a big team. So can Philadelphia get away with playing Mike Scott against Nikola Jokic? I don't think they can. I think Dwight starts this game. If Dwight starts this game, as long as he stays out of foul trouble, I think we get about 30 minutes from him, which actually, in my opinion, I think he's one of the better plays in the mid-range, assuming those things happen. Again, maybe Philadelphia does something weird. Maybe they continue to start Mike Scott. Either way, though, I think Dwight has to play more in this game against a big Denver front court. DNA Green, Shake Milton, Seth Curry, just, again, more secondary plays. Mike Scott has been starting at the 5, but he's played more minutes because of Dwight ejections. I'm not super interested in him even at that price point. Furkan Korkmaz, again, minutes trending down. George Hill, is he already confirmed out? Let's see. Yeah, he's for sure out. So, yeah, that's really all I got for Philadelphia. So let's move on to Denver. Nikola Jokic, with all those things being said, if they start Mike Scott against Nikola Jokic, he will absolutely abuse him. So love Jokic here. I think he's one of the top plays of the slate. Just very safe with upside, right? Even in a blowout against Atlanta, in only 28 minutes, he goes for 50 fantasy points. So, yeah, Jokic is just so safe. As far as the secondary plays for Denver, with Aaron Gordon now in this lineup, no priorities for me. Also, again, Ben Simmons is a solid defender, so he'll probably be on one of MPJ or Aaron Gordon. I think these guys are all just passes for me. They're not out of play. They're fine tournament plays, but on this 4-game slate, there's no priorities for me with the secondary options. Now, what's interesting to see that I thought JaVale McGee would play the backup 5. He was not in the rotation. It was actually Paul Millsap that played a little more the backup 5 with JaMychal Green. So if Paul Millsap's going to play the backup 5, then sure, you can look to him for value. I think we probably get around 20-ish minutes. But yeah, that's really it for me for Denver. Orlando and the Clippers, oh man, this team, whew. I mean, this roster is just absolutely disgusting. Terrence Ross is also available or probable, so that's another body now healthy in this rotation. I mean, MCW will probably start a point, probably play mid to high 20s minutes. A fair play, I guess, but hey, they're getting, the guy a little bit healthier now with Terrence Ross. He's also a higher usage guy. Dwayne Bacon had a big game last game, but again, with Terrence Ross now most likely available, kind of makes him a secondary play. Chuma Okeke, I think we get around 25 to 30 minutes. Again, a fair option. It's just, there's no, all these guys are, viable, but no one, really stands out because I don't think anyone's going to play massive minutes. Wendell Carter Jr. played 20 minutes. Mo Bamba played 17. Otto Porter Jr. played 20. I feel like all these guys are just going to play 20 to 25 minutes. And it's just it really just mucks everything up. So, yeah, I don't know if I really have interest in anything here. RJ Hampton, I thought he would play a little bit more. Even with the MCW injury, he only played 17 minutes. So it's I don't even know if we can go there. There's not much I like here on Orlando. There's guys that are viable, but there's no standout play for me. Moving on to the Clippers. Now, got to keep an eye on Paul George. It was a back-to-back, so maybe this is a planned rest. We'll see. If Paul George is out, then love Kawhi at the top, and then I really like a lot of the Clippers' value. So Luke Kennard started for Paul George, assuming he starts again. I think Luke Kennard's a good value. And then we have Terrence Mann off the bench. We have, where's Batum? Some of these guys got priced up a bit, like Batum, still viable. Reggie Jackson starting a point guard. Again, I'm curious to see what the minutes are like tonight for everyone, but I'm assuming all these guys play big minutes. So basically, Kawhi plus all his secondary plays do get a massive boost if Paul George is, in fact, out again. So, again, if Ivica Zubac probably plays around 25 to 30 minutes, he's a good point per minute guy. Marcus Morris, I think, will get around 30. Batum off the bench. Again, it feels a little bit pricey because he was, 4-2 tonight. I think I'd rather get to Morris over Batum. Reggie Jackson at 4-9. Again, I want to see how many minutes he plays tonight. But, normally when one of the main guys out for the Clippers, Reggie does, get a pretty big boost. And he can flash him upside. Again, he's a talented offensive player, not so much in the defense. And Terrence Mann off the bench has been solid. And then, again, if Luke Kennard starts. So, just keep an eye on that news. If Paul George is in, then I'm not as high in these secondary guys. So, Luke Kennard may go back to not playing again. Reggie would feel a little bit overpriced. Batum would feel a little bit overpriced. I think it would really be Zubac plus the main two guys if Paul George is in. All right, let's finish up with Atlanta and Phoenix. So on the Atlanta side, going up against a really good defensive team in Phoenix, I think there's just contrarian plays here. There's really only two guys. It's Trae and Capella. Trae Young, going to go overlooked in the slate, but should play, 35-plus minutes in a close game, viable for tournaments. And Clint Capella, too. Right? I think we get around 30 minutes from him. He had a disappointing game at ball last game, but we know he's got the upside. He's a good point per minute guy. So those two are really where I'm looking. John Collins, no. Gallinari, absolutely not. Bogdanovich, a little bit too pricey. DeAndre Hunter, questionable. We'll see if he plays. Doesn't do a ton. Kevin Huerter, no. Lou Williams also might play. There's absolutely no way I'm playing Tony Snell. So Atlanta's a team I don't know a ton interested in. Finally, Phoenix. So top three guys here, Booker, Paul, Ayton, all viable. I think DeAndre Ayton, once again, is a little bit underpriced. He's going to play 30 to 35 minutes. A guy that has gone for close to a double-double last 4 games. And, Capella, not the best defender. So I think DeAndre Ayton actually is a pretty safe play in the mid-range. With Paul versus Booker, it depends what you're playing, right? Cash games, I always lean Paul. Even though he had a 4-game last game, usually a guy that has a pretty high floor. And then Booker has the higher ceiling when he's getting it going. So for GPPs, if you're looking for that ceiling, it's Booker. If you're looking for more of the floor cash game play, it's Chris Paul. The answer is no. I'm not chasing Mikal Bridges' 6-steal, 1-block game. No, I'll let others do that. Jake Crowder at 4-9, I mean, sure. He'll play about 30 minutes. Probably gets you somewhere around 20 to 25 fantasy points. Again, fine for cash games, but I don't know if he has a ton of upside. And, that's really it. Cam Johnson at 3-2. How many minutes did he play last game? He's going to play about 20 minutes. I guess the price point, you can take a dart into him, but, again, it's not something you're going to feel amazing about. So I think that's going to do it for the video today, guys. If you haven't enjoyed the content so far, I would really appreciate if you leave a like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't upload videos you don't live. As always, I will be doing a YouTube live stream before lock tomorrow to go over everything and answer all you guys' questions, so make sure to check it out. Thanks again. Have a great night, guys, and I will see you all tomorrow in the live stream.